It's like looking into a mirror. You see it. You see it. Hello. This is Be Kind and Unwind with your boy, the Y Man. And if you haven't figured it out yet, this movie review is going to be about no other than Superman, the Christopher Reeves movie. Also, this is not just a getup, but I'm also a big fan of Superman and the comics. I'm a big fan of quite a few DC superheroes, Superman being number one. Now, when I was younger, I, you know, I was a huge fan of Christopher Reeves because he brought the fictional comic book character to life, at least in my opinion. And after watching this movie, you know, I kind of just saw a little bit more of his life through the lens of the audience, right? You kind of had a sneak peek into his world, and there were quite a few things that I already knew about him, and like a lot of other people, I'm sure that have seen this movie, you know, there's a lot of things I didn't know about this man, and you know, I really thought it was a moving film. This documentary really touched me in a way that it just made you sad at times, and it was I don't know, it's a little bit of a tearjerker at times also. Um, there were times when I was holding in the tears. I did not want to show the people that I cry. I didn't want to show them my sadness watching this movie. And then there were other times when I couldn't help it but to just tear up. It would just come out without without permission. It was just I was telling my eyes to do one thing and it was doing another. It was a saddening, heartwarming film at times, and you got to see where he started from, and then kind of go up from there and come down like a roller coaster, go up and down, like a lot of documentaries about celebrities. You see their beginnings, their middle, and their end, right? He kind of got this way about him in this theater acting that he was doing in the beginning, and then they took him from there, or he received an opportunity from Hollywood to play the movie or the character Superman, and then from there he just blew up, and he was on cloud nine for a while. He had his 15 minutes of fame, and then of course he comes down from there. He meets a person, he goes right back up, and then they depart from their relationship, and then he meets Dana Reeves, and they get married after a certain amount of time together. And during this kind of documentary, you meet their children, who are fully grown, of course, and you get to see, or the story in their perspective, their viewpoint. They kind of saw their father a certain way. I'm sure they saw him, kind of like a hero in a sense, because what child doesn't see their father in that way, right? And what father doesn't want their child to see them that way? This was a really emotional ride for me. He had good moments, bad moments, and then of course, towards the end, he had like a really bad moment when he was paralyzed, or when he became paralyzed. And you know some years after that, that's where the tears started coming in, because he was close to him passing. And but he still did a lot. He was the type of character that I think as me being an adult now, I would, if I would have known more about him at this point, I would have thought of him as more of a hero than he was before, when he was in my younger years. So I seeing the movie for the first time, he was my Superman. He he portrayed that fictional comic book character really well. I think he depicted it excellently. You know, there are other Supermans out there now, of course. And there were maybe one or two before him, but he was my first, and then after him is everyone else, right? So like, there's Brandon Routh. There's, I think, that guy named, what is his name, that was in Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman. I think Dylan something. I forget his name, but there was him. There was then after that there was I already said Brandon Routh. There was also uh, Tom Welling, and then now this new show called Superman and Lois. Tyler Heckling. I think he plays a really good Clark Kent and Superman combined. He plays them both well, and he's up there. He's pretty up there with Christopher Reeves in my book. He's almost even, I want to say, but Christopher Reeves still, in my eyes, in my mind, just played it perfectly. Both Clark Kent and Superman, and then he played all these other films in between. After Superman 4, he did more films than I thought, and it was in some ways inspirational where he came from. Right after he was paralyzed, it was such a sad thing to watch because his children were talking about it, and they were saying how the doctors told them that he if he were to fall just a little bit, maybe on his neck, a little bit more towards the left, like just by 1 inch, or towards the right by 1 inch, it could have gone really bad. Like, he could have died, or he could have just been injured, and that's it, not paralyzed. But he was right there in the middle where he became paralyzed from the neck down. And like any other person, I'm sure I would have felt the same exact way. You can't help to feel that he was down in the dumps, felt depressed. He even said it. His wife Dana said it. Dana Reeves. I already knew he was friends with Robin Williams. He was also there for him. And they even said after he passed, Robin Williams kind of, I forget when, but maybe some years after he died also. A couple of years, I want to say, maybe. I'm not sure. But, his wife also, Dana, died, but that was more of it was, I think, a year and a half later after his passing. She died from lung cancer, I believe, and I didn't know that. But Robin Williams dying, they said that if he were to remain alive, Christopher Reeves, because they were both good friends, they believe that he would have still been here with us. It's unfortunate that these things happen, right? Sometimes to these celebrities. And I was moved by this movie. I really was moved by this movie. I recommend it to you guys. I give it a 3 Y-Mans thumbs up. And the reason why I give it such a high grade is because me giving it a 3 Y-Mans thumbs up out of 4 really just is because I don't know. I just saw this man at a different light. Yeah, if it's still in the theaters, I don't know how long it's going to be in the theaters, but if it is, I think you guys should watch it. Especially if you're a Christopher Reeves fan like I am, and go, go see for yourself. See what I mean when I say that it's a touching film. It really is, and I think you'll understand where I'm coming from. You'll agree with me. And don't forget, like and subscribe as usual, and share it with your friends. Have a good night.